Those are the seats that you see. Those are the visuals that you see on your screen of the new Parliament building. A widely expanded Parliament. We have Pragya on the phone line to give us a perspective of the grandeur of this entire structure. Yes, Pragya, take us through the visuals that have now been put out of the new Parliament building.
Absolutely. This is the new Parliament building, a very majestic one. And also, as we have seen, former speaker who has written that there is a need for a bigger, larger parliament. So this is why this new building has been built. It has a greater area. This has more than 800 seats also, and also this has been built in a record time of 2 years. The government had used pandemic era, the time of COVID pandemic. To build this particular building, this has a greater area also, and also the new building can accommodate 888 members in the chamber of lower house, and also 300 in the separate chamber of the upper house. This, if you can see, we had a central hall in the current building, but the new parliament will the Lok Sabha chamber will act as a central hall, a bigger chamber for both the houses. This is also a part of Central Vista.
Yes.
This will be inaugurated on May 28th by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A very big event has been organized around this, despite the fact that there are many opposition parties, including Congress and DMK and other parties who are boycotting it and also creating a ruckus over the inauguration. The event is slated to be a majestic one with more than 25 political parties set to attend it. It is also seen that precaution has been taken to make it a very grand one. There will be separate entries for MPs and a separate area entry for media persons, is what we have been told.
Yes.
All the seats have been they have been set in a manner where they don't have to adjust themselves, because the earlier parliament we have seen how members used to sit. If they need to sit, they cramped along, but this time they have a separate seats and separate mics and separate system. This is a state-of-art building also, a great one which will be inaugurated on 28th May. And what we are believing is that monsoon session can be held in this new parliament. We have been told that it was supposed to be open. It was supposed to be ready for the winter session last time, but it took some time, and now it has been decided to be open in monsoon parliament. The inauguration is on 28th. But given the fact that there is so much of controversy around it thrown by the opposition parties, despite all that fact, government is set to make it a majestic and a grand event, considering the fact that this is also a non-colonial era building, which is a seat of democracy, and it should have been built by the people of this country, for the people of this country.
So 888 seats, it's a sprawling structure, Pragya, but apart from what we see on our screens, which is of course the seat of the Lok Sabha, the Dharma Chakra also visible above the Speaker's chair, there's also a state-of-the-art constitutional hall that is very much part of the new Parliament complex, and also ultra-modern office spaces that have been specially created, and they also have sophisticated audio-visual systems and a completely revamped Sansad Bhavan as well.
Absolutely, this is part of the Central Vista. Also, the adjoining buildings, they also have been renovated, revamped according to the necessity, and they have been interlinked interlinked to the background channels. We have seen the majestic constitutional hall also. There had been the laborers also had worked worked day and night to make this possible, and Prime Minister would also be meeting them on the day when this inauguration takes place. It's a tradition with the Prime Minister. Whenever he goes to inaugurate something, he always meets the laborers who had worked hard to make that infrastructure possible. The present building, the present building of the Parliament was never designed to accommodate a bicameral legislature. Number of Lok Sabha seats remain 545. and it has also been carried out according to the 1971 census.
Correct.
But with the need of new parliament building, there was a need of greater number of seats because there will be delimitation in 2026. So the total number of seats have been adjusted accordingly. There are, the seating arrangements, as I told you, were very cramped and cumbersome. So this time the central hall sitting capacity was only for 440 persons, but the Lok Sabha chamber will act as a central hall. The joint session can take place there. This has been taken into consideration. So given all the fact, the old building will be served as a heritage building.
Okay.
But the new building will, as PM has always said, that we have to shed the symbols of slavery, and this is a step in that direction.
Yes, this is very consistent with the Panch Pran speech that the Prime Minister had given on the 15th of August last year. But very importantly also, a crucial aspect of the entire structure, Pragya, is also the motifs, because it's based on the peacock theme, which is the Lok Sabha, especially the floor plan as well. And as far as the Rajya Sabha is concerned, it's entirely based on the national flower, the lotus. So indigenous motifs also very crucial, completely Indian construction. That's the emphasis here.
Absolutely, there are many artists that have been, used. The point is that there has been an effort to ensure that the Indian culture is showcased on every motif, every artifact that is placed in the building.
We have Mr. Pandit Acharya, the former Lok Sabha secretary, with us. Pragya, let me just interrupt you there for a moment. Mr. Acharya, watching the first visuals from inside the new Parliament complex. What's your take, sir?
No, I have not watched anything. I haven't seen the insides of the new Parliament building. So, since I have not watched anything, I can't say anything about it.
Okay, but this is a widely expanded parliament where, of course, there will be a capacity of 888 seats in the Lok Sabha, about 384 seats in the Rajya Sabha. It's a completely revamped complex, sprawling 65,000 square meters is what it's been built on. What do you have to say about the fact that this is a completely indigenous construction and a new parliament in the age of Amrit Kal? That's what the government of the day is talking about it as.
Okay. Actually, the point is, it's a new building.
Yes.
Which has been built to accommodate a very large Lok Sabha, which will come into existence after 2026, and also the Rajya Sabha. So naturally, the new parliament building needs to be a very large, much larger than the present Lok Sabha, because present Parliament House was built in 1927. It was inaugurated in 1927. So 95 years have passed. And after that, naturally, any Parliament House that we build will have to be much, much larger, because we have to look at the periodic increase that will have to be effected in the strength of the houses for the coming 25, 50 years. So that is keeping in view the requirement, the future requirement of the Parliament. This building has been constructed, and that is quite natural. That is how it should be.
So, Mr. Acharya, you do agree with the notion that it was high time that we had a new parliament building, given the space crunch, primarily that was a serious concern with the old building as it exists right now.
Exactly. I fully agree with you. In fact, when I was Secretary General, even at that time, there was a thinking about it, and there is no dispute of the fact that there has to be a building. I mean, a new building needs to be constructed. But then, where it should be constructed, etc., was not actually very clear. I mean, the site was not, there were many sites in view, but the site was not selected at that time. It was thought that a new Parliament House would be required. So that, I mean, there are no difference of opinion on that. But anyway, the new government, the present government, chose this particular site to build this Parliament House. And so, naturally, this Parliament House, will meet the growing requirements of Parliament.
A final question to you, sir. Given the fact that the inauguration is now happening on the 28th, we have unconfirmed reports claiming that the monsoon session could be held here. We'll wait for an official word on that. But how keenly are you looking forward to the events of the 28th and parliamentary proceedings kick-starting in this new complex?
Well, now is being inaugurated and dedicated to the nation. So, obviously, the next session, whenever it is held, will be held here in this house, in this new building. And that goes without saying.
Okay, Mr. Achari, PDT Achari, the former Lok Sabha Secretary, thank you so much.